as many of our listeners know, one of my favorite things to do on any roller coaster cruise is eat. And not just eat, but eat sushi. And
Mm.
for a lot of folks, I think they understand why I would say that because sushi and Japanese cuisine is so popular. But there are a lot of other people who simply haven't tried it yet, and quite frankly, might be a little scared of it because they hear sushi, they think raw fish, and I don't blame them. I thought the same thing for quite a while until I tried it. But if I was going to introduce sushi and Japanese cuisine to you, I'm not sure I could do it justice. So instead, I went to the source, one of my very good friends and an absolute expert in all things Japanese food, Chef Travis from Izumi. Chef, welcome to the Real From Blog podcast.
Thank you. How are you, Matt?
Very good. Glad to have
Great.
you here. Very excited to talk about my favorite thing in the whole wide world. We're actually recording this on Legend of the Seas.
Yes.
I am sitting in front of Chef Travis in Izumi in Central Park. And in front of us, we have an entire plate of sushi. We're going to talk about, I'm calling the Sushi 101.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this really is everything you need to know to get started, including things you should and, most importantly, should not do when you're eating sushi.
Yes.
Now, before we jump into it real quick, Chef, Izumi's been on Real Korean Ships. We were just talking about this before we started recording for so long. It's now the most popular, especially restaurant by volume on Real Korean Ships. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Talk to me about why Japanese cuisine is so popular, especially not on land. We see this as well, but on cruise ships like Royal Caribbean.
Yeah. So Matt, thank you for that question. So I've been in the sushi world since the 80s, but I saw it take off in the 90s. And around 2000, I was at, Los Angeles, Hollywood, actually Universal Studios, right? And I was part of the management that launched the City Walk, but I saw the evolvement.
Yeah.
Luckily, around, the start of the Oasis, which was 2009, I was introduced by another executive to see how I could incorporate my ideas that was LA style into the cruise ship. So, yeah, man, it's been around 17 years, and this will be the 33rd opening.
Awesome.
But the evolvement of sushi is basically that, mass scale took off. I mean, California roll was actually the birth from the 60s and 70s that basically took avocado, right? And crab and cucumber, and they did it in American style, which is the rice is on the outside.
Yeah.
So that's called uramaki. And the traditional style is hosomaki with the seaweed on the outside. Well, most people didn't like seaweed at the time.
Yeah.
But so that's how it kind of started, right?
Yeah.
And then even after or during COVID, oh my gosh, everybody wanted to all of a sudden visit Japan.
Yeah.
They were doing all sorts of like marketing and blogging and social media about Japan, the culture, right? The history, the diversity of the food.
Yeah.
And so I think it was really about the timing, Matt.
Okay.
And right now we're still at the, going upward in terms of growth.
Yeah.
But I think people who are really interested in the culture, the type of food, Japanese cuisine is very diverse. Sushi is just the tip of the iceberg, right?
Absolutely.
But it is still one of the most known food, and teppanyaki.
Of course.
And we have both.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yes.
So there are a lot of people who want to try it, but they're scared because, as I mentioned, it's raw fish. And also, you mentioned the seaweed. That's actually my kids' probably one of their bigger hangups is like, ew, it's seaweed.
Yeah.
So what do you say to that sort of statement? What do you tell people to make them be more comfortable with the idea of eating seaweed and raw fish?
Okay. Well, I mean, the seaweed is sort of inevitable. We do have soy paper, so you could always ask for soy paper.
Okay.
It's more friendly. That's our good friend Becky started.
Yeah.
The soy paper,
You're right.
So that's one. And then secondly, you got to start out with our, what we have is a crispy Philly or the crispy spicy tuna.
Yeah.
So it's actually, flash fried on the outside.
Yeah.
So it's quite friendly because like even the, crispy Philly is partially cooked.
That's a good point.
Or the crispy shrimp is like shrimp tempura, right?
Yeah.
Super friendly.
Yeah.
So start out with that.
Okay.
Get into it, right? Do the soy sauce, dip it in there a little bit with a little mixture of wasabi, right?
Yeah.
So get into that habit. And then from there, you could venture out. Because I think it's just mentality now.
Of course.
Okay. They're like, oh, like what's going on with raw seafood from my supermarket? Well, that's not the actual type of quality that we use.
Of course.
Sushi grade is very different.
Yes.
And we're very honed into that, like, sourcing.
Yeah.
Right. And we're very picky. So, but once you get into it little by little, I think consciously your mindset will open up.
Got it. Okay. So definitely the fried rolls are a good starting point.
It is.
and they're easier. I mean, it's the joke that anything fried is usually pretty darn good, and you see this in country fair food,
Mm-hmm.
everything. But it
Yep.
includes sushi as well, so it's a really good starting point
Yep.
for. Are California rolls also really good? Because I feel like a lot of people generally start with California. You talked about their popularity, but
Yeah, it's, basically the flagship of all the, Americanized sushi,
sure,
right? It's super friendly because
yeah,
I mean, crab is usually imitation
right,
or it's cooked.
yeah,
I mean, it's not raw.
right.
So as long as you're not allergic to shellfish, it's a great place to start.
Okay, wonderful. So that's a good starting point. So the
Yeah.
fried sushi,
Hmm.
California rolls, maybe if you're feeling it, and of
Yeah.
course the vegetarian rolls also is
Yeah.
another option. We
Absolutely.
talked about the seaweed. So all right, so you're ready to try sushi,
Hmm.
but of course you sit down at the table. The first thing
Hmm.
you're going to look at before you get served anything is there's a pair of chopsticks probably at your table,
Yeah.
and that's be the case at Izumi.
Hmm.
So what is your advice for learning how to use chopsticks?
Yeah. Well, chopsticks called ohashi or hashi, right? You probably want to ask for a wooden chopstick,
Oh,
which we
interesting.
mostly have, right?
Yeah.
So what you do is called waribashi. So you have to break it, right?
Yep.
So you gotta like literally break it.
Yeah.
And the thing that you don't want to do is you don't want to do this. You don't want to do this like, sharpening of the, or trying to like get this like splinter out because
Yeah.
there's none, honestly.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's totally not what Japanese do.
Okay.
Okay. So you don't need to do that.
Great.
And then, actually to use a chopsticks, you have to put it in between the index and the middle finger with your thumb holding it.
Okay.
Like midpoint,
Yeah.
and you have to literally move the top one up and down. The other one stays stable, but this one's gonna take practice, Matt.
Yeah,
Right?
of
So
course.
we do have a helper on most of the ships, and all you do is snap these things on, and it makes it so much easier to clamp down.
Nice.
Because just like playing a guitar, right?
Yeah.
Your fingers are not gonna be, muscle. The muscle memory is not gonna be there. Neither the strength
Right.
to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
So it requires practice, like
Yeah,
all things.
it
but
does.
a couple times over,
Yeah.
I think it'll be okay.
But the wooden chopsticks is way easier than the black, like plastic, chopsticks that you get in front of you.
Yeah.
As for the wooden one.
Okay, that's good. That's a good tip right there. That
Yep.
makes sense.
Yep.
Awesome. So let's assume trying chopsticks, like you said, first time went horribly wrong. If they just, you're look just awful trying to do it, you can't pick up anything with it. How do you eat sushi without chopsticks?
Oh yeah, so we have the thing called oshibori, which is a hot towel.
Okay.
So just that's the way to leave it, and it's kind of damp cloth, right?
Yeah.
And what Japanese do is they'll pick it up with their finger, and then they'll dip the fish side on the soy sauce, right?
Yeah.
And then just wipe it in between with the oshibori hot towel.
Is it more
Mhm.
appropriate to etiquette wise to pick up sushi with your fingers or with a fork?
Well, traditionally, Matt, in Japan, it's normal to eat sushi with your hands, but it's gonna be hard to pick up, something with a lot of sauces on it,
Of course.
like crispy Philly or futomaki. It's gonna be messy.
Yeah.
Right. So yes, if not a chopstick, then a fork. But the fork, when you stab it, it might open up or destroy
Yeah.
the roll.
Yeah.
So chopsticks first is ideal.
Sure.
And then hand.
Okay.
And then fork
Fork
will
is
be
the last of it. All right. So don't be afraid to use your hands,
Yeah,
basically, is what I'm trying to say.
exactly.
Good. All right. So here's a question. And actually, I didn't know that. I was doing some research before this. I don't even know the answer. Why is ginger served with sushi?
It's basically to cleanse your palate.
Okay.
So let's say you're having a sushi combo or nigiri, sushi chef's choice, right?
Okay.
Which means you have like 4 different type of nigiri: tuna, salmon, yellowtail, shrimp. So in between those, like a tuna, eat the ginger, then eat the shrimp, and then ginger again. So in between to
Okay.
try and separate the flavor profile.
Interesting.
Mhm.
So is it fair? So I
Mhm.
just learned something today.
Mhm.
You shouldn't be eating the ginger with the sushi. It's more of a
Yeah.
palate cleanser that goes in between.
It is because you want to try to taste the fish instead of like, mask it with the ginger.
Got it.
For sure, it's going to taint it.
Yeah.
So you want to try to like appreciate the different, taste profile
Okay.
other than try to make it like the same.
Yeah,
every
yeah.
time.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And it's also, before and even till this day, it's good for your stomach in terms of, I think in the olden days, they were trying to like really, keep your stomach right and with good parasites. So they were eating ginger, pickled ginger.
Got it.
Mhm.
So what is the traditional Japanese approach to soy sauce and wasabi, and are they supposed to be mixed?
So yeah, okay. So you go to like a kaiten sushi, which is a conveyor belt sushi, you're gonna
Okay.
have that, right?
Yeah.
So that's fine. You're gonna dip it. But if you go to a high-end sushi bar, like a chef is like serving right in front of you, don't touch it.
Okay.
They're not going to give you soy sauce anyway.
Okay.
So it's called omakase, which means you trust the chef.
Yeah.
And they're not going. There's not going to be soy sauce. They might have ginger on top of their plate that they use constantly.
Sure.
Wasabi, no, they're not even going to have that.
Yeah.
So basically, it's inside the nigiri already.
Ah, okay. Served in
Okay?
there already.
Exactly.
Right.
It's inside already.
Yeah.
The rolls like this one, the hosomaki, they're already inside.
Okay.
So that's not going to be necessary. But for our purpose in Izumi or American style is like you could take some dab of wasabi and put it in there in the soy dish, and you could put some soy sauce. Try not to fill it all the way.
Sure.
Minimal, right? And then mix it up, and then you can actually dip it. That's okay.
Right. So it's almost like as you're describing it, it reminds me of like with steak. Like a
Mhm.
good steak,
Mhm.
people say, you don't need A1 steak sauce on
Right,
there. It should
right.
stand out on its own
Mhm.
and it seems
Exactly.
like sushi is kind of the same way. The profile should be representative of what you're trying because each type of roll brings out a different flavor. Is that right?
That's correct. That's correct. And
Yeah.
Matt, like dipping the soy sauce. I mean, the sushi in the soy sauce. The thing you want to avoid, right, is to dip the rice in there where
Yeah.
it soaks up all the soy sauce.
Yeah.
That's actually it hurts us chefs because we're trying to really bring out the flavor
Right.
within the roll or outside of the roll.
Yeah.
And then that really like
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
just-
putting so much ketchup on a French fry. It's like, what are you doing, right?
Right.
So usually, Matt, if you want to, just mix it in the soy dish and pour it on top from the soy dish a
Onto
little
the
bit
roll.
onto the roll.
Okay.
That would be a better, suggestion from my perspective.
Sure.
Other than dip the whole thing in there,
Yeah.
and then it's like soaked in there. It's like, you're eating so much soy, and then you're
Yeah.
gonna be thirsty all night because there's so much sodium in there.
Right.
You're drinking a lot of water anyway.
For sure.
Mhm.
Let's talk quickly about the different kinds of rolls because again, we're sitting in front of a variety of different kinds. So we talk about nigiri rolls and maki rolls and hand rolls. Like if you're new to sushi, how do you broach that? Because we talk about some of the rolls, like you say, okay, well, Chef Travis said I should do a fried roll. It's
Right.
going to kind of drive you in one direction anyway.
Mhm.
But what's the like between sashimi and nigiri and all these? Like, how should people think about them in terms of ordering?
Okay. Well, let's see. If hand rolls are tricky, Matt, I wouldn't do that one
Okay.
because it's easy like a cone, but the type of nori grade used in every restaurant is different.
And nori, by the way, is seaweed, right?
That's right.
Yep.
Nori roasted seaweed,
Yep.
and you will definitely not like it when it's chewy.
Sure.
It's chewy, gummy, and then if you do a high grade nori at like a hand roll bar,
Sure.
perhaps you're gonna use a premium one.
Great.
And there's like 20 grades to the nori.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, like
Yeah.
from the lowest to the mid to the highest. So hand rolls are tricky. So you can go do that later onward. Okay, but in the beginning, like we talked about, maybe the crispy Philly or the crispy spicy tuna, or the crispy shrimp.
Yep.
Some of the flash fried rolls first, or the California roll. Nigiri sashimi is like, that's like so Japanese because you start out with the slices of fish. They don't want to get full
Yeah.
with rice.
Right.
So they're just eating sashimi,
Meat.
slices of fish. And that's where you have to have soy sauce and wasabi in there,
Okay.
but it's not going to be on top.
Right.
So for sure you need that one. Nigiri with the rice on the bottom. That one, as I said, you want to basically pour a little bit from the top from the soy dish
Okay.
on the fish. Or if you're really good at chopsticks, then take it and then literally go upside down or on the sideway and then dip a little bit on the
Interesting.
fish side. That's gonna be kind of hard
Yeah.
because the nigiri might not be so compact and
Sure.
might fall apart.
Sure.
The best way to do it is with hand. Yeah. So and then so go in that order. Like start off very easy with the signature rolls that are fast fried or
Yeah.
California roll, and then you can venture out.
Okay. And that leads me into my next question, which of course, when you're going to Izumi, because you're thinking, okay, well, all right, all this makes sense. Well, let me start at a safe place, and that's going to be Izumi on Royal
Right.
Caribbean.
Right.
So looking at the menu, the signature rolls would be a good starting point for folks who are brand new to sushi.
It is definitely. And you can ask the waiter or the chef, right? I mean, if you want to, we have a sushi counter at almost every Izumi, right, outlet. So ask for the sushi bar and
Yeah.
then ask questions with the chef. Hopefully my chefs are all talkative,
Yeah.
but they will tell you.
Yeah, and they can
Mhm.
and ask for advice, and
Exactly,
yeah, that
exactly.
makes sense.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the other thing to remember is you can also be brave but experimental, meaning there are non-sushi items on the menu
Yes.
that have nothing to do with fish or anything like
Right,
that.
right.
But you could try one roll along with the other options that are on the menu that
Mhm,
are have nothing to do with this. That way you can like dip your toe in without
mhm.
saying, "Okay, I'm going to eat 5 different sushi rolls tonight,"
Right.
or "I'm going hungry." That kind of thing.
Yeah. Matt, like we have the prefix and the a la carte, right?
Yep.
So just go in like an appetizer, and then if you're on a voyage for like 7 days, right? Say, hey, I just want to just do a la carte,
Yeah.
half a roll or something like that.
Absolutely.
Or, try something like that and say, okay, as long as you're not allergic to like a, snow crab dynamite roll, you could try that, right? If you're
Mhm.
not allergic to shellfish
Yep.
or crispy Philly or a tuna tataki or champagne lobster, right?
Yeah.
Those things are, yeah, it would be, my recommendation.
Sure. So
Mhm.
let me ask you, speaking of the menu,
Mhm.
if Michael Bailey comes in today to eat dinner at Izumi and
Yeah.
he says, Chef Travis, I
Uh-huh.
want to eat one roll
Yeah.
tonight. And
Yeah.
he's been here before, right? So he's
Yes.
not his first time here.
Yes.
What's the one roll you would recommend to Michael Bailey, Royal Caribbean
Mhm.
CEO, to eat
Mhm.
off the menu
Yeah.
at Izumi?
So my top choice would be the creamy truffle lobster
Okay.
roll.
It's an indulgent one.
Yeah, usually lobsters are popular, right?
Yeah, of course.
So, lobster chunked, and we do tempura fry each one of them, right?
Great.
And it's covered in the truffle aioli sauce, right?
Hmm.
A little spicy, and it's sitting on top of a roll that's
Yep.
salmon, hamachi, yellowtail, and asparagus, and it's coated with that, and it should be served warm with a little chili thread, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I would probably recommend for him.
Speaking of chilled or served
Mm.
warm, how about sake? Because that's also a very popular option.
Yeah. So
How do you,
yes.
what are the options you have here?
Yeah, so Matt, we have various types of sake. So the Atsukan, which is a hot sake, is our house sake. So we have it in small, large sizes. Of course, it comes with a sake cup, and you can pour that.
Yep.
That's a very traditional. It's called Atsukan, which means hot sake, right?
Hmm.
But also, if you want to try something more premium, or some people don't really like the taste of sake.
Sure.
So they'll say, can I have the sparkling sake, which is like a champagne sake, or nigori that's unfiltered. It's a little sweeter.
Yep.
They might ask for that, or the cocktail,
Okay.
right? But if you're a true sake guy that likes traditional stuff, envisioning, because the meaning of Izumi means hot spring, source of water, right? It comes from that character. So if you're like closing your eyes and you want to be in Japan, but you're not, you just sit there and say, okay, onsen, it's like steam. And then you're sipping hot sake, let's say in the cold parts of Hokkaido, northern Japan. You're sipping hot sake and you're eating sashimi. Like that's as Japanese as you want to get right there.
Nice. And how about, so we're sitting here at the
Mhm.
table and Chef Travis brought out Ichiban
Beer.
beer.
Yes.
So is this your preference over Sapporo?
Man, like Kirin Ichiban is like the most for me. It's like it's a little bit more the stronger side,
Okay.
right? Ichiban Shibori
Sure.
is meaning the first, drip right there.
Yeah.
That's like that's like very Japanese beer.
Yeah.
Sapporo is probably my favorite, along with Orion, which we don't have Orion, but
Sure.
that's where I'm from, Okinawa.
Okay.
And then you have Asahi, which is more crisp and refreshing.
Yeah.
But I'm Sapporo, Kirin. Yeah, either one of those is one of my favorites.
Fantastic.
Mhm.
Well, I hope with this people are able to try sushi for the first time and not be afraid of it and
Mhm.
come in. Actually, so we're talking about the menu. It just reminded me. You can actually come into Izumi. They have, you can order things off the menu and just, try one or two things and not have to
Exactly.
commit necessarily.
Exactly.
And here on Legend of the Seas and the
Mhm.
Icon class and
Mhm.
Utopia of the Seas as well,
Mhm.
there's a sushi window. So
Yes.
it's kind of it's a little faster. You don't have to commit to a whole sit down experience,
Right.
but you can still get to
Yes.
try out at least some of the basic roles.
100%. Matt, and we're very grateful that we're on most of the ships, right? In the
Yeah.
Royal Caribbean fleet. But as far as our method, as far as our sourcing, I mean, it's probably one of the safest areas to try that.
Yeah.
Because I come from the Japanese traditional training,
Mhm.
right? So I speak Japanese.
Mhm.
I could be Japanese, but I'm not, right?
Yeah.
Because I grew up here most of my life in the States.
Sure.
But as far as the technique, our execution, our foundation of how we mix the sushi rice with the proper vinegar,
Yeah.
and how we use the right Japanese short grain rice.
Yes.
These things are all like fundamental things,
Yeah.
and we have a very good system of course, treating the fish,
Hmm.
first and first out. Like we're very, we're good at that.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a very safe place. They have grocery store markets everywhere, like
Of
with
course.
sushi in there, but that can vary.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's a very good place to start.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would highly encourage anyone that is like doubtful or uncertain
Yeah.
to give us a try.
No, I agree. I mean, there's nothing. No disrespect to the
Mhm.
supermarket sushis out there, but I
No.
mean, they're not the highest quality to begin with, and it's. I think starting on honestly at a restaurant, especially like one here on a cruise ship, like Royal Caribbean, it's honestly a pretty good like above average type of sushi that allows you to get your feet wet, really enjoy. And there's some really intricate rolls here that really stand out. So
Mhm.
it's certainly if you're going to try sushi, the supermarket's not for that. That's for like when
Mm.
you're in a rush and you love
Mhm.
sushi, but you want something just to tide you over. But higher quality really does stand
Exactly.
out.
Generally speaking,
Yes, of
if
course.
you're in East Coast and the Wegmans, they have great sushi.
Yeah,
If you're in the West Coast in LA and you go to Air One and spend $50,
yeah,
yeah, there's great sushi.
yeah.
Or Tokyo Central, which is Japanese, brands and all
Hmm.
around along the Southern California.
Yeah,
Yeah, of course, there are Japanese
yeah,
markets, right?
yeah,
But generally speaking, with the national chains,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
we're pretty up there.
Chef Travis, thank you
Mhm.
so much for your time today.
Thank you so much. Cheers.